Hey model car fans, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Ducky's Model Cars, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to Ducky's Model Cars. As always, my name is Kenny, I'll be your host. For today's review, we're going to be reviewing, I guess, another model that I'm calling a model from my vault, from my personal collection, but it was also a model that AUTOart is releasing some specs on, and of course, if you like the one that you see here, you can still, of course, pick this one up somewhere. But without further ado, the model for today is going to be the Porsche 911 GT2RS. Alright guys, so same deal, again, as my Aston Martin DBS in the last video. My Porsche GT2RS model here I've had for, again, a little over a year. This one is finished here in the racing yellow with the carbon fiber black stripes that go all the way across the top of the car, and maybe something that doesn't fit everyone's taste quite so much, we can get a little sneak peek of there, is the black and red interior. And when I first showed this model on my Instagram page, one of my friends commented, well, I think either commented or messaged me personally to say that I had picked up the McDonald's spec Porsche, and now I can't unsee it, but it's also quite a fitting name, of course, with the yellow and the red. I'm sure many of you watching this will obviously be familiar with the 911, a car design that has been relatively unchanged in its entire history. It's always kept the same shape, essentially the same proportions, the same lines, of course, slightly reworked with every model. And of course, the GT2RS was kind of the ultimate version of the 991 generation cars. So again, if we look at this model, we can see, as I mentioned, we have the carbon fiber stripes that go all the way across the hood, will wrap around the hood and go all the way across the top of the model. Hopefully you guys can see the weave there nicely. We have the knocket ducts in the hood, which unfortunately aren't fully cut out, but we can see the nice detail there. Of course, the Porsche crest logo on the front. We have that extra little piece of venting from the front to help with the aerodynamics. If I lift the model up here briefly, we can take a look at the nose. And one of the, I guess, the party features of the GT2RS is that actually in the front splitter, we can see GT2RS, which in the real cars is actually kind of carved into the splitter. So again, a nice attention to detail here by AUTOart. And we can see the mesh detail in the front, and I believe I think the fog lights kind of set into the front bumper there. Again, we have the little cutout for what would be the sensor. If we move on to the headlights, again, we can see the awesome headlight detail, and even right in front, which is actually the little nozzles that shoot water out to clean off the headlights. So again, when I say AUTOart always, for me, nails the attention to detail, it's little things like this, where they include the headlight cleaner nozzles on the model, because of course they're present on the real car. If we move on to the side a little bit, of course, we can see the fender vent detail, of course, to help with extracting air out of the wheel well. If we take a look at the wheels, these might be one of my favorite spec of wheels. And one of the details I like about, well, the wheels and tires is that it actually has the Michelin writing branded on the tire, and we can see all around there. Hopefully it's enough focus for you guys to see. So yeah, you can see the Michelin logo. It doesn't actually have the brand of tires, which I believe on the real cars are Pilot Sport Cup 2s. But yeah, just really cool that they have the Michelin branding design on there. This car has center lock wheels, so we can see the nice little center lock in the logo with the RS badging, and carbon ceramic brakes with the big yellow calipers. And of course, all Porsches have the gas cap on the front. So in this case, we have the gas cap on the front on the passenger side. Of course, the little GT2RS badging on the side. And of course, again, sticking with the aero bits, we can see the little kind of extra vent on the side here, again with the open mesh, which again, just like on the real car, is all built and designed for aerodynamics and to decrease the amount of swelling air that you would get in your wheel well when driving on a racetrack or responsibly on the roads. And also a nice detail on the side here is kind of the famous Porsche side markers. Moving down the side of the model, again, we can see the venting on the back of the car. Again, it's not, I got my little key here, it's not, of course, fully functional on the model, but you can see there it actually goes fairly deeply in the model. So again, nice attention to detail. That's also finished in carbon fiber. Obviously there. So the vent is finished in carbon fiber. Of course, the side skirts here are finished with the carbon fiber. Oh, actually, no, apologies, guys. The side skirts aren't finished in carbon fiber. They're just straight black. But yeah, the vents finished in carbon fiber. Again, we have the little nice detail of the door handles. Here, the mirror, the black part here is actually finished in carbon fiber on the mirrors. We can kind of zoom in a little bit there, and hopefully you guys can see. Moving on to the back of the car, again, great wheel detail on the back, and even down to having the little air filler cap. I know the proper name for it, it's just escaping me right now. I'll correct myself on screen when I remember what it's called. The valve stem, there we go. Even the valve stem detail, and I like how they do it with a little bit of like a chrome or silver finish, so it kind of stands out against the all black wheel, so you can actually really see the detail. Again, not super prominent on the model, but we can see how the arrow works around the back of the car. Again, the little mesh detail, the cutouts for the exhaust. Again, as I mentioned, the license plate, which gives you the model of the car. Again, on the back, we have the GT2RS logo, and we now come to the big wing on the car, which if I open it up for a second here to get a little bit of a better angle, we might be able to see, again, one of, I guess, the party pieces of the GT2RS is that kind of woven into the carbon fiber on the back of the wing. It actually reads and says Porsche. Hopefully you guys can see that with the light, but you can actually see that kind of almost faded or hiding in the wing is the Porsche logo. And as far as I know, this is only a detail that's on the GT2RS, so yeah, really cool. Again, that AUTOart replicated it on the model. And one more detail I like on the rear of the car, guys, is that at the back right here, it says RS. Again, just like on the real car, we can see, if we look on the inside, we can see the roll cage in the back, of course, because race car, this car has a full roll cage in the back. And the GT2RS, compared to something like the GT3 or the GT3RS from this generation, the GT2RS is actually twin turbo engine. So we can see on the top, I guess the rear deck lid here, the vents that actually help to feed more air in and actually feed air to help the turbos spool up. We can see the awesome wing supports on the back here again for this massive, massive wing that the GT2RS has. And we can go ahead and open out the back since it opens, but because it's a Porsche, you don't really see much. Of course, the engine sits way, way down in the rear of the car. So unfortunately, we don't get to look at a pretty engine inside of this Porsche. But again, we can see some of the venting back here, some of the spots to put in different fluid. And we can see how the whole car here is finished with the carbon fiber. Sticking with the back of the car, guys, again, once again, we can see the awesome the awesome tail light detail. And we can see that this one, to help contrast, is actually finished in the red. That was one little nitpicky thing that I said in the last video with the Aston Martin. If you guys haven't seen it, I guess quick spoiler, the Aston Martin has the taillights kind of almost all blacked out, which is more accurate to the real car. But again, I would have liked to maybe see some red tint or some kind of red plastic detail on those lights. But yeah, super awesome red detail. And again, it just helps kind of contrast from all the yellow and black on the model. Of course, we can see kind of the lower red lights as well. Again, we can see the mesh at the back, the kind of aggressive diffuser, which kind of goes very deeply underneath the rear of the car. So have a quick look at the rear since we're back here. And again, as I mentioned before, one of my favorite details is how AUTOart kind of even puts in all the exhaust detail. I guess there we go. We're focusing, as I was saying, you can see all the lovely exhaust details, of course. Not a very big exhaust, as the engine in a Porsche sits way over the back of the car, but it's still cool to see the exhaust box. We can kind of even see, I think, part of the turbo there in the exhaust. So yeah, really good attention to detail. But let's go ahead and open up the doors. Go ahead and just use our actual door handle there. But yeah, we can go ahead and open it up, and we can see this, what I think is a lovely black and red interior. If I just zoom in here for a second, guys, with the video, we can see a bit more of the detail. So we can see in the center console, we have the gear selector. Of course, the GT2RS only came with a PDK gearbox option, no manual. So you can see just kind of the stock shifter in the middle there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to pick it up on the camera, but right behind the steering wheel, if I put it up there, You can hopefully see on the far right side there, that actually does have the paddles on there. Again, it'll be a little bit harder to show, but maybe now that I've cranked the brightness up, we can see, and we can also notice that on the steering wheel, the carbon fiber inlay details on there, which are awesome. Turn that off for a second. Yeah, you can just barely see the paddles on the right side there. And if I turn ever so slightly, we can see the pedal detail down there. Again, we can see the seats are finished in full carbon fiber backing, again, with the red middle, the red seat belts, and super awesome detail, of course, the lightweight sport seats. So you can see how it kind of feeds to the side there. It has a small hole, again, for weight savings. In the seat, if I turn ever so slightly, as I just mentioned, we can see right in the center, hopefully, you guys can kind of follow my finger, we can see the clock, which is kind of a famous detail in all Porsches. If I turn the light back on here, we can see some more of the carbon fiber detail kind of around under the vents, right around the trim. We can see on our left side, right about there, we have the slot for the key. Of course, Porsches are famous for having the key in kind of a slightly different position. Usually they're to the right of the steering wheel in every car. But of course, in a Porsche, due to the old racing starts, they are on the side so that it's very easy for the driver to run up to their Porsche, open the door, hop in the car, and as they're hopping in, they can kind of put their foot on the brake, turn the key, and then slide into the car fully, put the car in gear, and go. We can see the details on the center console. We can see all the media controls. The screen in the middle has the GT2RS logo. Of course, that's going to be your full nav screen, and also has all your different car functions. And yeah, you get a little look over the passenger side. Not much to see over there. Again, you can just kind of see the bare bones of the door card. But that's basically what the GT2RS is. It's essentially a race car for the road. Real quick, guys, one more thing that I didn't mention before. Of course, like all AUTOart models, the GT2RS is fully opening. So you can see both doors open here. We can open up the back. You can open up the front. As you just saw there, it's very temperamental. If you kind of bump the model or kind of move it, the front trunk will just kind of close down. But simply open, we can get a quick look at the inside. Again, some more red detail there. Not exactly sure what that is, but again, we can see kind of the cutout for where the hood latch would go. And as always, there's some felt detail down in there. As it closes, I just made my point. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys that, like all AUTOarts, this model is fully opening. So there we go. There's the little review of the Porsche 911 GT2 RS. Again, my spec here is finished in yellow, which I absolutely love. It might not be for everybody, so once again, I'll have information down below if you want to check out the AUTOart website and see exactly what specs that they made, so you can choose the one that you like the best. And of course, again, as always, if you guys want to buy some model cars, there'll be links down below to two of my friends' shop. Of course, my friend Keith's Model Cars, he'll be linked down below. My friend Derek at Toronto Motorsports. Of course, maybe if you don't live in the GTA or even in Canada, they do offer shipping. But again, I'll put some links down below so you guys can browse and buy yourself some model cars. Again, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram will be down in the description below. I guess my quick overview thoughts of this GT2 RS model. Again, I would give it a solid 10 out of 10. I think AUTOart completely nailed it with all the little details that I showed there. Of course, like the Porsche logo in the wing, the little details in the front, like the windshield washer, the mesh detail, the brakes, everything. I'll give it a solid 10 out of 10. Yeah, if you guys like this model, like this car, definitely recommend picking up one for your collection, especially if you're a Porsche collector. Gotta have a GT2 RS. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, as always, please give it a big thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel to see more videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.